Welcome back to video 7 of the National Jelly Roll Day Sew Along. We are going to be constructing the back for this, and the backing consists of 9 fat quarters. A fat quarter is 18 by 22, and you're going to want to cut all of the selvages off your fat quarters and make sure that they are square. Mine are about 17.5 by I think 21 for this, depending on how big the selvages are, but make them about that size and it'll fit the quilt top. I know I'm already pressing in this video, but let me take you back a little bit, and I promise you'll see all the steps. But you're going to sew along the long sides. I'm just going to call it 22 inches because that's what a fat quarter is. So sew along those sides and sew 3 together in a row, and then repeat that 2 more times. So you will have 3 rows of 3, and again, using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, just like the entirety of the quilt top. But again, you're sewing along the long 22-inch sides and sewing 3 fat quarters together. And then I am pressing my seams to one side, but I switch directions in every row, and I'll explain that a little further on with a photo as well. But here I am sewing the last 3 together, again along the longer side, and the last piece. Now I backstitch at the start and at the beginning just to give those seams a little bit more strength, especially because I am going to load this backing on my long arm and I don't want my seams to come apart. Here I am pressing those seams open one more time, and this is a great time while you're pressing your seams open, since these are larger pieces, that if your fabric got a little wrinkly while you're sewing them together, just make sure you press them all flat. Here's where I was talking about pressing in different directions. The top row, I pressed my seams to the right. The middle row, I pressed my seams to the left. And the bottom row, I pressed my seams to the right. This will allow me to nest my seams like we did when we were sewing the squares and stripes together in the quilt top. But here you can see, again, I like to nest my seams, and it just helps me line up those seams as perfectly as possible. And the last 2 seams of the backing is just sewing the top 3 pieces to the center and then that piece to the bottom until you have a lovely 9-patch layout. If you're new to quilting, a 9-patch is simply just 9 pieces of fabric, usually squares, but these are rectangles together. Check back later today for a quilting video, and we're almost done, so excited. See y'all soon.